Hello, lovely listeners. This is the April 2026 astrology report with me, Rebecca Conran. I'm a life coach, energy healer, and astrologer located in the UK. And yeah, this is the News Story podcast. So this month, we're looking at a very intense month. Let me get my notes up here. It's what I've called it is unvarnished and unafraid. It's really stripping us bare this month. We've got both Mars and Mercury entering Aries, joining Saturn and Neptune, joining that conjunction that's still being activated. And so it's really a concentrated blaze of Aries energy coming in there. The atmosphere is going to be very direct, unapologetic, and quite piercing. There are no retrograde planets, so there's nothing to soften or obscure this forward thrust, this birth that's happening. Everything is going to be moving, everything is going to be declaring itself. Uranus is standing at the final degree of Taurus until month's end, so that's distilling years of upheaval into a potent exhale before shifting into Gemini, where it's going to stay. What's been building beneath the surface is really seeking words, articulation, movement, and release. The degrees to be aware of this month are Aries the third degree, Aries the eighth degree, and Taurus's final degree. The early Aries degrees speak to extremes. At Aries the third degree, the symbol of the Great Pyramid's outer casing being removed. This reflects a profound stripping away, and I'm taking my symbols from Inside Degrees by Elias Lonsdale. So we imagine the Great Pyramid and the exterior being stripped away. So what does that leave us? That leaves us only the mysterious, sacred inner chamber. So with this energy here of Aries 3, there's a compulsion towards stripping things away, revealing the intimate innards, and a compulsion towards honesty, although honesty is obviously subjective to the speaker. And so the energy of this degree, it borders on the ruthless as the collective refuses to hide behind politeness or illusion. So this is a degree to watch for this month. This is a real jackhammer degree. We're breaking through veneers here. With Aries at the eighth degree, the tone shifts into more of a theater. The symbol here is a lizard adorned in blue satin, playing roles with dazzling detachment. So here we're oscillating between absolute truth and absolute artifice, between exposure and disguise. So here we really discover how easily reality can be shaped, bent, and pretended. And in the world that we're living in, we're becoming more and more aware of the role of pretending in our society, the role of the mask, the role of disguise and illusion. Meanwhile, Taurus at the anaretic degree, this holds a different gravity. This is snakes resting in the sun, and this is evoking a deep retrospection. So there's a sense of having lived through countless cycles with the weight of experience pressing persistently on the present. And the question here is whether we can affirm the journey and receive the whole journey, warts and all, or whether the past is something that we are really rejecting and we're unable to create a tolerance for our experiences of the past and bring our karma full circle. This moment is asking for a quiet reckoning with time and our place within the unfolding, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as I get to the end of the report here. We start the month on April 2nd with a full moon in Libra. This is opening a communal chamber of feeling. This is about the willingness to sit in discomfort with one another, to share vulnerability, and allow something to shift. So healing is not coming through with this full moon in isolation. It's through participation, through recognizing ourselves in other people's struggles and transformations too. But there is a caution here to not become attached to the process itself or get caught up in what we'd call trauma bonding. We want to let it serve these experiences as a passage towards genuine freedom and renewal. It's not about necessarily the process, it's about what we discover outside of that process. Mars enters Aries on April 9th, and the tempo is going to accelerate greatly. Action, if focused, can lead to real new beginnings now, but unchecked action, unconscious action, is going to lead to all things war and conflict. This is a very fiery, chaotic, warmongering type energy to be dealing with at this point in our world's history. By April 13th, Mars is going to be conjunct with Neptune in Aries, and that's going to be where the third degree of Aries is coming in. So it's intensifying that theme of raw truth. But are we being visionary, or are the lines blurred between clarity and illusion? So only a practice of discernment will ground us in a higher truth. And discernment means weighing things, putting yourselves in other people's positions, being able to step back and listen. Discernment is a practice of not just knowing what you want to say and knowing what your ideas are, but being willing to tolerate others, being willing to sit back and look at things objectively. Mid-month brings a powerful clustering. We've got Mercury entering Aries on April the 15th, and that's going to be bringing this fire energy, this truth-telling energy to our thoughts, speech. And over the few days from the 15th, there's going to be fiery energy that is going to be entering our emotions. So there'll be a feeling of emotional immediacy. Whatever is felt right now is going to feel hard. It's going to feel harsh. It's going to burn. Words especially can burn now. So we don't want to forget our compassion at this time with all of this fire energy. We want to be very careful that we're not just burning down the house, that we're doing everything with love still. The sun's conjunction with Chiron, which is coming to the conclusion of its journey in Aries on April the 16th, is really going to expose some tender places. It's inviting both wound and remedy into conscious awareness. So if we're awake, there's some deep healing to be done. And if we're asleep, there's probably some breakthroughs going to be happening. April 17th is a turning point because Mercury is going to conjunct Neptune again at that Aries, the third degree. And the new moon at Aries 28th is also happening around here, and it's going to conjunct Chiron. So there is a doorway opening around this new moon that is, connecting us to a larger, almost mythic sense of our purpose. The symbol of the degree, 28 degrees Aries, is a laurel wreath placed upon an old man. And so this is speaking to the enduring awareness of our destiny, of being seen, guided, and accompanied by something greater throughout our journey. So this is a quiet assurance during this new moon, that every step, even the mistakes, even the fatigued, fractured moments that we find ourselves in, it all participates in a larger divine destiny for each of us. And so can we keep tuned into that energy? Can we keep calling on that energy to support the clarity to move forward and to direct our action and our purpose? By April 19th and the 20th, we've got now Mars and Mercury conjuncting Saturn at the 8 degrees of Aries. So this is grounding that volatility of the third degree, those transits that we've been experiencing, into more form, discipline, and consequence. So what began the month as impulse now demands a lot of structure, discipline, self-responsibility. And then we've got some much needed grounding and earthly energy coming in. I'm sure we're all going to be very grateful to feel the effects of Taurus season. The sun's entry into Taurus is really going to steady the field. It's going to invite embodiment, pleasure, sensual connection, which means being in the senses, and integration. And that's something that we can all use, a nature practice, excellent right now at that time, savoring your experience, be with people, have cook delicious food, really enjoy it, enjoy smells and sights and sounds of spring. Um, and with all this Aries energy, the soul needs a body. We need to get into the body. If you don't have a daily embodiment practice, and I don't mean going and working out every single day, I mean being in the body, whether that's spending 10 minutes sitting, meditating, getting in touch with the senses in your body, your feelings, what's going on for you, a stretching practice, walking, being in a conscious way, anything really, but we need it. We definitely need it. We need that grounding with this Aries energy that's coming in. The final big ticket event of the month, however, which we're going to feel as an undercurrent with the final degree of Taurus being felt all month long, is coming on April 27th. And that's when Uranus finally moves into Gemini. And that is signaling a shift from material and resource system disruption awakening that we're going through to intellectual and communication awakening. And the mind is going to quicken, the air is going to stir, there's going to be a cycle of new curiosity beginning. And we first felt this energy during the first ingress on July 7th, 2025. However, we retrograded back into Taurus on November 7th, 2025. But now Uranus is shifting for good. It's going to be there till 2033. Uranus into Gemini, it is very different for our nervous systems. We're already overloaded in our nervous system, so we really need to be aware of nervous system connection and care and de-stressing, not by going unconscious and numbing out, but by active recovery. So that is things like qigong and yoga and walking and breath work and singing. There's so many ways that you can actually support de-stressing the nervous system, and I really recommend you look them up and create your own sort of daily practice to tune into that isn't just turning on the TV or going horizontal. Burnout needs active recovery, and that doesn't mean action-packed. It means it needs your presence and your consciousness. Uranus in Gemini, this is the awakener. This is the disruptive energy that liberates us. And in Gemini, the liberation moves through thought, language, and perception itself. So we're going to expect intuitive surges, sudden clarity, and entirely new frameworks of understanding. Personal downloads are really could be coming in very strongly during this initial transit. Sudden clarity and entirely new ways of perceiving our experience and thinking about things. Be prepared to change your mind. And this is going to extend, of course, all the way to 2033, but during the major transits, that's when we feel this energy the most. So there's a generational rewrite going on of how we talk, how we learn, how we connect. Our nervous systems, media landscapes, and all information channels, they're going to undergo a profound reconfiguration. I couldn't think of anything we need more. It's absolutely imperative that we have this at this time. Yet with this influx comes a crucial reminder that more information does not equal more truth, which is obvious to us all now. We have so much information and we are so confused about what the truth is in our society. Discernment, as I mentioned earlier, and I've been mentioning a lot this year, that is the essential skill to be practicing and building upon in an age that's already saturated with illusion and noise. So where change has been avoided, especially mental change, perception change, that's where Uranus applies pressure. Where growth has been personal but not collective, that's where the wider systems now begin to shift. So the wider systems have to catch up to the way that we've all been evolving, and that is part of Uranus's job here. In Gemini's domain, this points towards big changes in education, technology, transportation, the ways information is exchanged, artificial intelligence, of course, decentralized media. and grassroots communication networks. These are likely to surge even as misinformation and cognitive overload are testing our clarity. So the lesson here is sharp and it's uncompromising. Information alone holds no power without the ability to interpret it wisely. So this is about us learning how to interpret information wisely. At its core, this is the spiritual revolution of the mind. That's Uranus and Gemini. And it's asking us for a fearless questioning of our inherited beliefs, our conditioned beliefs, that we approach it in an awakened curiosity. So many people are going to begin to see how deeply conditioned their thinking has been. It's been shaped by culture, the media, survival patterns, families. And this transit is inviting a clearing of that mental residue so that we become the masters of our own mind and we return to our inner knowing, along with a reclamation of our authentic voice. So the highest expression here is conscious mental liberation, the ability to think independently, speak truthfully, and engage in meaningful exchange. And when we ground that energy, and we need a lot of grounding, this energy produces visionaries and bridge builders. But when ungrounded, it's going to risk further burnout and mental exhaustion. So the task here is to refine, reshape ideas from a place of clarity and integrity. So this is a month of definitely feeling exposed, of truths being laid bare. It's fiery. You know, the fire is easily can burn out of control here this month. You know, we really need to remain open to the strange unfolding spiritual intelligence that's carrying us forward. If you're called to going deeper and you'd like to work with me in a way that supports you right now, I offer my one-on-one astrology readings, my energy healings, and also my weekly podcast subscriptions where I offer a weekly ritual and all the transits that I haven't spoken about today, everything to expect of the themes of the week. I offer in a weekly subscription, and that's all available on my website, www.rebeccaconran.com. It's linked in the show notes. And you know, I look forward to supporting you in your relationship with the unfolding skies, and all are a grounded and intuitive way of understanding what's moving through you and around you. So good luck this month. I'm wishing you the best, and I hope that a nice you know, that this experience is not, you know, the house burning down, but that it's just enough fire to create courage and new starts within you and protection for you as well. So sending you lots of love. Bye bye.